Welcome to Orange County Power Players, where we spotlight the personal, professional, and financial success stories of OC's top leaders. Here's your host, Danny Flores.
Welcome back to OC Power Players, where I interview some of the most successful people in Orange County. I'm Danny Flores, your host, and today's honored guest is Joel Jones, zooming in from Northwest Arkansas. Joel is a drone instructor at Orange Coast College in Costa Mesa. He is president of Drone Crop Services, licensed for operation in 6 states. Also, the FAA Safety Team Drone Pro. He's assisted in Farm Bureau of California in drafting new drone pesticide applications, successfully written swarm waiver, also carriage of hazardous materials waiver. And he conducts first in the nation beyond visual line of sight UAS aerial application. Welcome, Joel.
Hey, thank you for having me on.
So tell us how you got into this. This is kind of unique for us. It's a totally different subject matter, but it's something that's super interesting because drones are used for so many things, from pesticides to spying, military attacks, everything, right?
Yeah, totally. Well, it kind of goes back. It's like, you just have some of those kids back in the day that flew RC planes and stuff. Well,
Right.
that's kind of what I did, and pursued a pilot's license, but didn't quite go that way. And then when my kids got old enough, hey, I wanted to introduce them back to flying, so started flying RC again, and I was in Orange County at the time, and basically just started really connecting with the community of flyers. And it's like, and all of a sudden the level of sophistication in the radio control equipment had changed so much from when I was a kid that it's like, wow, we can actually do a lot of stuff there. And we had new controllers, and we had quads, and multicopters versus just fixed wing. And we had a lot of automation in it, where it's like, okay, people that don't necessarily have skills to fly can fly, but getting into it, it's like there's all of this exuberance coming in. So I just started building and building, probably over a 4 or 5 year period, hand built probably a few hundred different aircraft, from fixed wings to quads and stuff like that, and kind of testing some areas out. And it's like, oh, what could we find that could be marketable in this? And in the midst of it, word got out. They were looking for a UAS or a drone. UAS is essentially unmanned aircraft system.
Okay.
But drone effectively. Orange Coast College, the aviation program, hey, we're looking for somebody that would be willing to come in and begin to teach courses in this. We really see there's a future in this. So that opened up. So 2018 was the first semester. That I started teaching our introduction to drones, and over the past years, we've been able to get over 100 students pass their FAA remote pilot certificate, or also known as their Part 107 certificate. But really in it, as I dove into it, it's like I began to realize pretty soon, it's like there's only so much work that we're going to be able to get people doing photography or videography. And really there's just a few, and really how drones work. It's like you don't really go in and you're going to be a drone pilot, then you'll do something else. It's you kind of have to have a specialty. It's like photographers. It works really well for photographers or videographers to go and get their certificate and bring drones into what they do. Or if you're a realtor, to go out and get your Part 107 and then bring drones in for doing your photography of your locations, or for survey, you're already a certified GIS, and going out doing mapping and surveys, you bring drones into it. So it's like that started to create kind of a quandary, because it's like we're wanting to build a program here where we can bring students in out of high school. But what I was finding where things were at, it's like, oh, well, we're picking up 30 and 40 somethings that already have developed a career, and they're going to bring drones into it.
Right.
So it's like, all right, well, we've been given a lot of money to develop this program. So I need to really be looking out there, and how can we find a niche area that we can really take the next generation to, because that's really the core, is basically being able to provide jobs and careers for the next generation.
Right.
And so kind of where that started developing is, it's like I started looking, okay, ag is probably going to be a really good place for this. I wound up connecting with the OC Farms, or UCANR, right there in Irvine, with the people. And it's like, hey, all right. And we started bringing our labs, flying there once a semester or so. Okay, this is going to be a location where this is going to happen, but really the drone technology wasn't there. And so we've continued on building our running our classes and getting our students certified. But basically always kind of looking to the future, and looking into the future, you hear us talk about waivers, or the swarm waiver, the beyond visual line of sight. I continued kind of pushing into, I call it regulatory technology. Regulatory management, really from the place where drones are at. Really, it's the market is almost a regulatory technology, because it's not so much, you don't have to have, these days with automation, you don't have to have super high skills in being able to manually operate a drone, because there is enough technology in place that the automation can handle a lot of the difficulty in the flying. What is really important, though, is understanding the regulations about where you're flying. Just right in Orange County, right around Orange County, we've got John Wayne. We go up to the north. We've got Los Alamitos. We've got Fullerton. We've got a number of different airports, which that's basically airspace, what's known as controlled airspace, and even over Disneyland, there are the airspace is set up where it's controlled, and you can't just decide, hey, I'm going to go out and fly. There are several steps that you've got to go through to be able to do that. And so there are regulatory steps, and that's what's important, especially when you go from, hey, I'm flying for myself, to moving to a place where I'm going to commercially fly. There are a lot of steps that are not necessarily easily accessible to find out what you need to do to get there, that you have to take care of. And if you don't, you can get in a lot of trouble. You can get fined a lot of money. I know just off of Long Beach this last year, there was some remote pilots flying down there. I think they were kind of pushing the bounds, but had over $20,000 fines because of the illegality of their flying.
So that's expensive. So now let's explain a little bit. You talk about certificate in Part 107. So does every pilot have to have certification to be able to fly?
Commercially, commercially, if you're flying for real estate, if you're flying for YouTube, if you're going out and you're gathering images, or you're gathering data that will have a commercial purpose. So, and basically YouTube, social media, that is considered a commercial, even though you may be doing it privately, that is still publicly out there. The FAA considers that commercial. So in that case, you need a commercial remote pilot certificate, which that's the Part 107. But if you just want to fly for fun, you can go out and get the FAA recreation pilot certificate, and that's free. That's free to go out and do. And there are a number of different websites that you can
Mm-hmm.
go out. It's about a 15 to 20-minute read, and then
Mm-hmm.
take the test, and that you're able to do that, and that gives you kind of a general overview of what to be looking for, and knowing how to find if the airspace that you're flying in or the area that you want to go fly is going
Right.
to allow you to fly.
So it's more to try to teach you the do's and the don'ts and the areas that you can fly in and
With
not.
Yeah, with the recreational, but within the commercial, on the commercial side or under Part 107, it starts to step up a few notches, and but you get the ability to you get the ability, if you have the waiver, if you write the waivers, to fly swarm or fly multiple drones at a time, or to fly beyond visual line of sight. As you mentioned, that's one of the things in the agriculture industry. I was the
Mm-hmm.
first one to go out and get beyond visual line of sight for drones under 55 pounds and for drones over 55 pounds. So
Wow. Yeah, so that's interesting because I know personally I didn't know that you should be you have some type of certification, but what does the class consist of to get the certification for commercial, the part 107? How long
that
is the class? What is
this
it?
is our current class. It's APT APTA 131 is our class. It's a 16-week class, or it's one semester. And the first 8 weeks are intensive in going through everything that you're going to need to know to be able to go and pass the FAA written, the remote pilot
Mhm.
written test. And then the additional 8 weeks, I go into writing waivers. We've just picked up trusted operator level
Mhm.
one certification that we're now included in that, which a lot of your prime operators, a lot of your aerospace industry, if they're hiring drone pilots, they're going to be looking for this trusted operator, these trusted operator permits. And it's basically, I've just been approved to be able to sign off or mentor for level one and level two in that. But this level one is included in our class as well. And
Mhm.
then what parallels along with the class is we have a lab, a flight lab, where you get actual practical hands-on drone flight training as well.
Well, that's pretty neat. And that's a lot, right? It's a lot, and I
Yeah,
guess maybe we don't know. We as just like the
yeah,
regular public don't know that. Okay, yeah, drones you can go buy a drone, but nobody tells you that. Wait a
yeah,
minute, be very careful, right? You got to have
yes,
these license. You have to, you know, so
absolutely.
you don't get in trouble. I mean, who would want to get a $20,000 fine?
Hey, exactly, exactly.
You
And we're really excited. Uh, if you've been around the air if you've been around the industry for drones, or even for if you're a pilot, you've
Mhm.
probably heard of Part 108, or you have heard this beyond visual line of sight, BV loss. Well,
Mhm.
back in August, the FAA released their preliminary rulemaking for
Mhm.
beyond visual line of sight, the new industry area, which is basically going to give us delivery. It's going to give us long range surveys, basically power lines, where you've got power lines, or you've got pipelines, or even a forestry, running forestry, where you may have to fly 10, 15, 20, even up to 100 miles. The FAA has new proposed rules that are coming into place that is going to make a full industry now. So basically, where we've just had Part 107,
Mhm.
this is a whole new area that is going to open up, and there's a lot of it mirrors a lot of what we've been doing within the agricultural sector for our
Mhm.
drones that are above 55 pounds.
Right.
And it parallels with a lot of what I've been doing with beyond visual line of sight. but it's going to open doors up for delivery, for Amazon, for Walmart. And actually, what my big push for is to see a lot of mom and pop operations or small operations where you're working for, you may be working for, or you put a small delivery or heavy lift business together. Because
Mm-hmm.
part of what we're getting under this as well is we now have drones that have the ability to lift up to 200 pounds. But basically, with the right rules and the right training and the right programs,
Right.
we have the ability to train people up, and then they can go do this delivery work. Or what I've particularly been doing, ag, within the ag
Right.
industry,
Mm-hmm.
and really, and that's been a lot of my focus in developing our program. So here in the next few months at Orange Coast College, we're going to be opening up a whole new program to support these new beyond visual line of sight operations, from training in simulators, and really getting into the regulatory management of the side of it, because
Mm-hmm.
it's what it is. It's like when we think about pilots, or we think about American Airlines, or we think
Mm-hmm.
about Delta and the pilots there. There's a lot of skill in pilot training within the
Mm-hmm.
crewed aviation that you go through. But
Right.
within the drone sector, a lot of that hands-on flight skill is now handled by automation. So within that automation now, there's a lot of checks and balances. It's like the
Mm-hmm.
FAA wants to know, hey, is this drone going to be safe enough, and can the manufacturer prove to us that it's going to be safe enough to fly through the middle of Orange County,
Right.
through and go out and make a delivery to this
Mm-hmm.
house from this location? Are they going
Right.
to be able to safely know where all the crewed aircraft are and be able to coordinate? All
Right.
of that stuff comes together. So basically, our program is going to be training people, from not so much as to, hey, how I can just go in and fly the drone, but how to put all of the rules together, from the FAA to local to state, meeting all of
Mm-hmm.
the requirements, from the drones to the data communications. Because now what
Right.
we're not talking about just a drone, but we're talking about an entire communication system with the
Right.
drone
Right.
that has a capacity to carry up to several hundred pounds
Mm-hmm.
and travel several hundred miles. So it's
Right.
like, also what comes in is we start looking at cybersecurity. We start looking at a lot of different areas that all integrate in to make this industry go. So
Yeah.
basically,
Yeah.
we have a whole program that we're launching here just in the next few months, and we'll have a series of new programs starting up for this, specifically for this, for the fall of 2026.
No, that's amazing. That's great that industry's kind of dialing in and on the needs and then the training that the pilots can actually get. Now, I was going to ask you what, as we wrap up the interview, what exciting things you're working on for the next 6 to 12 months. But it looks like you mentioned some of them already in the
Yeah,
new program and whatnot.
yeah,
So that's amazing. Now the next thing is thanks for coming on and for sharing your story. If somebody's listening and they want to get a hold of you, they want to learn more about you or the program, what's out there
yeah.
for drones, how could they get a hold of you?
They can get a hold of me I've got a couple different ways through Orange Coast College. You can go to Orange Coast College, the Aviation Science Department,
Mm-hmm.
and drill down. You can drill down to it and find the drone or the UAS program,
Mm-hmm.
and my contact is there.
Mm-hmm.
It's awkward. Our email is just a bit awkward, but it's jjones319 at occ.cccd.edu. So
Wow.
if it,
Okay, yeah, you weren't kidding.
yeah. So sometimes it's easier just to get to me directly from the other. And for commercial, I've got Joel at dronecropservices.com, And for commercial outside of education, if you had questions, you can go to dronecropservices.com also.
Very good, Joel. Well, thanks so much for coming on and sharing your story. And for our audience, please go to ocpowerplayers.com and follow us on your favorite channel. Thank you, Joel.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks for listening to Orange County Power Players. Want to share your success story? Apply to be a guest at ocpowerplayers.com/guest.